Welcome to Creative Evolution, the show that gives artists a real plan for a long-term career. I'm your host, Josie J. Today, we are recording right from the living room sanctuary of the incredible Becki Grace. She is a phenomenal local musician and the wonderful host of Local Honey right here on Radio KCM. Today, we are diving deep into the beautiful, messy, and sometimes heartbreaking reality of being a creative. We're talking about discovering your identity, navigating the profound grief of losing a spouse and bandmate, and learning how to transmute that pain into beautiful art. We also explore her resilience in keeping her radio show alive across 3 different stations, and why she uses her platform to champion and elevate other women in music. If you've ever felt stuck or scared to take the next step in your career, this episode is your sign to push forward. Let's start the evolution. Can we do it? Hello, and I am so happy you're here with me today, Becki.
I'm happy to be here too.
We are at Becki Grace's house today, and if you don't know, Miss Becki Grace is the wonderful host of Local Honey here on Radio KCM.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! And she is also a musician. She's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. You have to go check her out. So let's get started by talking about Becki Grace. Who is Becki Grace and where is Becki Grace from? And how did Becki get into music and radio?
Each loaded questions. Who is Becki Grace? I would question anyone who could put a definitive answer on that question for themselves or anybody else. I think I'm discovering and not deciding the first time in my life, which I think maybe I feel like I'm closer to what that truth is. I am born and raised local, grew up in Blount County, still live in Blount County, and I was born into a very extremely conservative family and religious family that was very strict and controlling. At the same time, because nothing is all good or all bad, I learned a lot of really cool, great things, like stand up and stand out. Nobody remembers normal. Be a leader, not a follower. Define yourself. Don't let other people tell you who you are. And I became all those things, and then I think they didn't like it because I didn't let them tell me who I was.
That does tend to happen.
Yeah.
I won't say in only conservative families.
Yeah.
Because I've met a lot of people from the other side.
Yeah.
Who their parents did not like when they start having their own brains.
Yeah.
So, it can go either way, but I can totally see that.
Right. And I was encouraged to get my education. I'm the first person in my family to have a college degree. And then I have been attacked by my family for having a college degree because I was brainwashed. I was, this or that. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. If you had gone, you would have learned that you aren't taught what to think, but how to think. Yeah. And it's my critical thinking and my questioning that you're not enjoying right now. And I can appreciate that because one of the things I learned with an undergrad in psychology and another degree in sociology was that people fear what we don't understand. And so education is the cure.
Education is the cure. Knowledge is power.
Exactly. And so that with degrees in psychology and sociology, I learned a lot of things about systems and history and society that really outraged me and lit a fire in my pit that... Well, I'm not sure if it lit it. I think it more rekindled it because I was raised as an activist, right, but on the far right.
Yes.
And discovering these facts of reality that contradicted stories I had been told that were not facts of reality is what shifted me to what now gets me called names by my family. And I appreciate, I've said, and I did not make these words up, but I embrace them. I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not. And I appreciate that I can stand on the truth unwaveringly, even to my own family. Mm-hmm. And when we don't line up, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that was a really, really painful, hard lesson. I spent a lot of years grieving a family while they're still alive.
Yeah.
And they're still, still don't get to have a family that I want or deserve. So I take a lot from that growing up. There's a lot of hurt there, but there's also a lot of healing and strength there and a lot of appreciation.
That's beautiful.
And so nothing is all good or all bad.
Yeah.
And then now I have the theme song of the Facts of Life running through my head. Because isn't that just the facts of life?
It is. It is the facts of life, because everything, there's a duality to everything. And I think a lot of people are afraid to get in that gray area.
But it's all gray.
It is all gray.
Because it's not just this or that simple dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spectrum, and nobody's on any extreme point.
Yeah.
We're all somewhere in between. Nobody's pure anything.
We are the grays.
We are the grays. That would be a good album title.
It would be, wouldn't it?
The Grays.
I think that would be perfect.
Yeah. Well, so another thing that I took from my family, other than a lot of hurt, is music. My mom was in a church just on the other side of the neighborhood here, where I grew up, where my parents met, and where my mom became a singer, and where I became a singer. My mom was in a band at church, and when she was pregnant with me, and I would kick in rhythm with the kick drum. A guy named Bobby was on the drums. And that was the last time I had rhythm. My husband used to say, Becki, just put the tambourine down. You're messing me up. Just put it down. Just stop. It's just better if you don't.
If it makes you feel better, I also cannot play tambourine.
Oh, I was just be humiliated. But he was right. And I had to let that be true. Just for the sake of, the music's first. It comes before my ego. I'm working on it, though. I started actually performing on stage with my mom and my 2 older sisters when I was 3 years old. And we would sing 4-part harmonies, and they would teach me what part to sing and then say, okay, you just keep that. You just keep doing that. And we're going to do something else. Don't do what we're doing. You keep that part. And I had to, I don't remember this. I don't remember being taught. These are just stories that I've been told. I'm remembering this right. The stories I've been told, not my memory. I have a very bad memory, but back to my family and my childhood. I was homeschooled kindergarten through 6th grade. I come from a long line of mischievousness and facetiousness in Appalachian blood.
Oh, yeah.
Real Appalachian blood on both sides.
Oh, yeah. See, and it's the same for me.
Yeah.
Appalachian blood. A lot of sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. A lot. I got Cott County and Sneedville on my dad's side, and I got Fenton, Georgia, and Cherokee, North Carolina on my mom's side. It's real Appalachian coal miners and railroad workers. My dad's side was doctors and engineers and...
Yeah.
So
you get the brains from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, and my parents were kind of like Romeo and Juliet. My mom was from the wrong side of the tracks. And they'd been together for over 50 years.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and rare. So again, not, growing up in being homeschooled, we got to nurture our creativity and explore a lot and ask a lot of questions and figure things out. And we did science projects. And in 3rd grade, I was learning German and reading Old English Shakespeare because that's what I wanted to learn about. And then I remember in 5th grade making a constellation out of my family and my neighbors in the backyard, and I had to go around and move everybody and tell them how fast to turn and what direction to turn and how fast to rotate. And, we created the solar system in my backyard.
That's awesome.
But that was my lesson. This is how we learned. It was all very hands-on. We grew our own food. We sewed our own clothes. We cooked everything from scratch, all of our meals. We were too poor to buy new things, so we had to learn how to fix everything. And it was very creative, very exploratory and adventurous. And what's better than that for a kid? That was ideal. Yeah. There were parts of my childhood that were not.
I think it goes for all of us.
Right,
Yeah.
that upside and downside. But man, I had a great time. Played outside barefooted from March to October, from the time I finished school not until I wasn't allowed to go outside and play, because I would finish all my work by before noon. And with one-on-one attention, you can do that. It's a lot easier. And my mom still wouldn't let me go outside and play until 3 p.m. because she didn't want the neighbors to think that I wasn't really doing school and have the cops called on her for keeping me out of school. And so I did my work and we stayed inside till 3, and then I went outside and played, and I didn't come back until like in the summer in warm weather, 10:30.
Yeah.
But our neighborhood was like everybody knew everybody, and everybody's parents disciplined everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
close-knit.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, there were probably 10 kids around my age, give or take 3 or 4 or 5 years. Really, again, really ideal.
Yeah.
The land, actually, my dad just grew up over in Springbrook, on Springbrook Road in Springbrook Park. And then we grew up just like 2 miles away in Rockford. But that's who I am. That's where I came from. That's how I began. That's singing in church. And then when I did go to public school, I went to Maryville Middle School in 7th grade, and I was in choir. And then I went to Maryville High School, and I was in choir. And then I was in the Maryville Treblettes, which is an all-girls auditioned ensemble. I mean, we did show choir and classical, and we were part of drama when they did musicals. We were part of the choir part. And then my junior year, I was in the Maryville Singers, which was a co-ed auditioned ensemble. So girls had to go through singers first, and guys, there was no other option. It just went straight to singers. But we did classical and show choir and the drama and the musicals and stuff like that. So a lot of fun. And that very much nurtured my theatrical side, which has always existed. I've always been this way. It's never gets turned off. I've been a spaz my entire life, just very theatrical, very animated, very high energy, even though I'm exhausted all the time.
Maybe that's why, because you exert so much energy all the time.
There is nothing below 11.
So what do you think about listening to some local sound?
Okay. Music right now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I've decided to get happy before my time is gone. I wanna be more happy-go-lucky before it's time to move on. If living comes full circle, it'll come round before long. I've decided to get happy before my time is gone. I'm cashing out and leaving before I get too old. I've gotta go while still believing these hills are full of gold. The mountainside may kill me, but the climb will save my soul. I've decided to get happy before my time is gone. I'll wake up Sunday morning before the break of dawn. Just show up without a warning and tell you I was wrong. And you'll know how much I miss you when I kiss you a little too long. I've decided to get happy before my time is gone. I've decided to get happy before my time is gone. I wanna be more happy-go-lucky before it's time to move on. If living comes full circle, it'll come round before my time is gone. set 'em up, I knock 'em down. You're a straight shooter, I hear 'em all around. Your understanding, I'm misunderstood. You ain't half bad, honey, I ain't that good. We're yin and yang, we'll never be the same thing. But if the sun and moon get along alright, maybe left and right ain't wrong tonight. Take my hand, you feel that spark of lightning, that static electricity, a little yin and yang, and a whole lot of you and me. Your hot and spicy, I'm a sugar sweet. You get up and at 'em while I'm still asleep. You're complicated, I'm a simple girl. You're a homebody, baby, I wanna see the world. We're yin and yang, we'll never be the same thing. If the sun and moon get along alright, maybe left and right ain't wrong tonight. Take my hand, you feel that spark of lightning, that static electricity, a little yin and yang, and a whole lot of you and me. Our love lies in between, baby, our love lies in between, baby, our love lies in between all these extremes. We're yin and yang, we'll never be the same thing. But if the sun and moon get along alright, maybe left and right ain't wrong tonight. Take my hand, you feel that spark of lightning, that static electricity, a little yin and yang, and a whole lot of you and me. It's you and me, it's you and me.
That was some more local honey, Miss Monet Madu. Find her everywhere. You were telling us that you grew up in the church and you sang with your family, and that was what you did for a very long time. Let's talk about how you went from being in church singing into being into bands.
I don't know that it's a common transition, but it's not an uncommon transition. When I didn't have an outlet after church around the age of 17, 18, then I started going to karaoke bars and singing, and was appreciated there and got comfortable there and learned a lot of songs that I didn't know growing up, because we didn't listen to that kind of music the first part of my childhood.
Right.
That was when I started discovering music. Well, I mean, I started choosing my music in middle school, but really exploring and finding out old stuff and people that I'd never heard of, and just discovering everything, and even realizing some of the legends that I had always known, delving more into their stuff and finding out that I liked more than what I heard on the radio.
Right.
That was when I really started picking music that wasn't just what was on the radio.
Yeah.
And then it was 2012, so I was 32 when I was invited to my first band with the Jason Perry Blues Band. I had been, one of my best friends is also Cole. we worked together at the time, and he was a musician and was in a band called Jesco. And then he left that band and he was playing solo, and he started asking me to come sit in with him and sing a little bit with him and kind of get me just doing some covers because I wasn't doing anything with live music, just karaoke. And doing that got me more comfortable and wanting to do it more. And then Jason heard me, and Jason had me come perform. I performed with their band for the Jerry Garcia birthday bash years before, like 2005, I think. And so he said, "Hey, we need a woman on this band, on these songs. Would you mind to come learn them?" And I went to the band rehearsal, and on my way home, they called me and asked me to be in the band.
That's
And I was
beautiful.
not expecting that. I was really surprised, and I'm like, absolutely, that was so much fun. If that's what being in a band is, I want to do that forever.
Yes, yes.
We had a lot of fun. And then I was still working on my undergrad, but I couldn't do music at the same time. And so I had to quit. And everything was still good with everybody. No bad feelings or anything like that. It was just circumstance. It was maybe 2 years later, my husband was starting to put a band together. So my husband was Jeff Livingston. His best friend was Geezer Sims. And they'd been best friends since they were 13. And it ended up being me and Jeff and Geezer. And we decided to with the name 3 Mile Smile, and we learned a bunch of covers and started playing out. We did that once a month or so here and there. Jeff had been the booking agent and manager and PR guy and all of that for his bands, Rough Justice, and then later The Voice, and for Heavy Buzz. And so he's a natural at that, and he already knew how to do everything and handle all the business side of it. And so he just booked us and told us when to show up. And we all discussed our songs, picked our songs together, and he wrote our set lists up, and we had negotiating power. And like, I just had to show up and do my job. Like, I just stand there and sing, and it was fun, and I was good at it. Our friend Zach Rock played stand-up bass for us, and we ran into Darby Kiger. She's a fiddle player and plays viola and teaches. We heard her and we were like, "Oh my God, you're amazing. Please come play with us." So we had her on our first album. And so Jeff and our band 3 Mile Smile, with these phenomenal musicians, debuted that album, 3 Mile Smile, at Rhythm and Blooms in April of 2015. And we did a set with Jeff Barber and Sarah Perkle for their gospel hour. 2 totally different bands.
Yes.
Very, very different bands. It was a very exciting day. And our set later that afternoon at 4 at Locke's Salon, Jeff proposed to me during our set. And everybody in the band knew, and several of the people in the audience knew, and I had no clue because we had already planned since the end of the previous year to elope in 4 weeks. And I thought because we planned an elopement that I wouldn't get a proposal because it was something we discussed and agreed on. It wasn't a question. And so I got a classic proposal on stage with a huge audience at a huge festival that was a monumental event for our band and an accomplishment for us as musicians. We were just floored that we got this opportunity. It was so huge for us. Sharing a bill with some of our favorite musicians. I actually ran into Countess Penny on the sidewalk on Jackson Avenue and got to tell them that they inspired our song, The Jester, that was on that first album. That was at their show, and they were opening for Sirius Bright. So I also got to tell that story to Sirius Bright that weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this was such a huge weekend.
Yeah.
And that was the pinnacle. And, then I'm shaking, and I'm never nervous to be on stage. I've been on stage longer than I can remember. I'm more comfortable there than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm shaking because I'm I have all this surprise and adrenaline and excitement and glee, and it was a little bit too much. It was overstimulating. And then we had to close out. My words to him, the first thing, my words to him when he asked me to marry him, was, "You make me feel like June Carter."
It sounds like you had such a beautiful relationship.
Well, we had the time of our lives, and we had that band for 8 years, and we played hundreds of shows. 2020, he had us shows booked. This was monumental for us. He had us shows booked in New Orleans, Mobile, Daphne, and then over in Gulf Shores, Pensacola, and Key West, and then back up Savannah and Charleston,
That's quite the run.
right? And it all got canceled because of the pandemic. That was all of 2020. We just kept waiting, and every month, whoever was booked that month would reach out, or he would reach out to them and say, all right, what do you say? Where are we at? What are your numbers like? What's this, what are the recommendations at this point? Because that was constantly changing as information was coming in and we were learning more. And we, of course, lost every single one of those because of pandemic, and they weren't doing live music, and they weren't advertising. They were just taking whoever came in. They were not trying to draw people in. They were just trying to make enough money to pay their staff and keep people's heads above water.
Yeah.
In January of 2021, the vaccine came out, and on January 20th, we sat in our living room and watched the first female vice president in the history of the United States take oath of office, and we toasted with champagne, and I went back to work. And on January 27th, he was killed in a car accident a mile from our house. I am so fortunate that for the 14 years that we had together and the 8+ years that we had our band and created music together and shared the stage and the spotlight together, we lived every single day like it was our last, because we both had a lot of experience with death in our lives in a really unusual and weird way. And it made us so intentional. And we both had a lot of unpleasant relationships before we met each other. So when it was so easy and so right with us, we appreciated it so much. And we were so careful with it and so intentional, because we knew that this was not normal, that this was something that was rare.
Yeah.
The day he died, I came home from work for lunch, and I was just about 10 minutes away. And he woke up early because he was not working late, and as they were closing early still. And I spent my lunch break with him, and I was in a bad mood, and I was yelling and cussing and just slamming things and just venting about the world falling apart.
Yeah.
And being a counselor, helping people with their worlds falling apart while my world is falling apart.
Yeah.
And it was just very hard.
Of course.
And working 45 hours a week during the day and 15 hours a week in the evening and on the weekends in private practice, in all of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, bleh, letting it out. And he told me what he was going to do to try to help. And he told me, how he was, going to try to make a difference in that. And I had to say, man, this ain't about you. You can't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
This is I'm not blaming you. I'm not mad at you. And he got that. He just wanted so badly to help, because he always just wanted so badly to help me. Always pushing me forward, always pushing me upward. And always drawing me and other people back to music, encouraging and almost bullying, but in a really great way, a really precious way. And so he came and sat beside me on the couch, and he wrapped his arms around me, and I had the lucid moment. I could smell his cologne on his shirt. He was wearing the Elton John 40th anniversary Yellow Brick Road tour shirt and Philadelphia Eagles pajama bottoms, and he had his headband in to pull his hair out of his face because he hadn't had a haircut in over a year because of the pandemic.
Right.
And I remembered having a thought, you have to memorize this smell in case you ever need to remember it. And I remembered that it was sweet. And I thought that was weird, but there was just a sweetness to it. I realized what time it was. He said I had to go back to work. And we got up, and he took my stuff out to the car. And we stood on the porch, and we made out for a couple of minutes until he literally made my knees buckle, and he caught me, and he took my breath away, and I had to catch my breath and just stand there for a minute, and he laughed at me, and I made fun of him because that's what we did.
Right.
And snarky, not really making fun of him, just being silly. And we waved each other goodbye, and we held up our I love yous, and we said I love you, and I tooted my horn 3 times for I love you. And we waved at each other until I turned the corner and he was out of sight. And that was the last time I saw him. He was happy and the sun was out and it was in the upper 50s. It was a nice day. And I don't think you could plan a better last time seeing your
Right.
favorite person that's ever existed if you tried.
I don't think you can.
And the fact that I didn't have to try it, that's just the way it was, that's the way we lived. That
Yeah.
was every day.
You lived intentionally and you loved each other.
Completely. I can't be more grateful. I can hurt that I don't have it anymore, and I do. But I can't have any regrets. Nothing was ever left unsaid. Nothing was ever left undone. And I still live that way. I say my piece. If it makes somebody mad, it makes somebody mad. But I didn't leave it unsaid.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make somebody mad. I'm not going out of my way to bother people. But if one of us died and it wasn't said and that would bother one of us, then I'm going to say it, even if it's uncomfortable. And I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. I've gotten real comfortable being uncomfortable. I kind of feel invincible now. The worst thing that can possibly ever happen to me has already happened. Nothing else will ever hurt that much. Nothing else will ever feel that good for me either. And that hurts. But nothing can ever hurt that much ever again. And so I can do anything now.
Your perspective. I just think it's really wonderful that you are still grateful and you hold on to those beautiful moments and you don't just dwell in anything else. I love that you've been able to accept your pain and accept the fact that you can grieve. That is wonderful. It's so much better than walking around just angry all the time.
Oh, I am.
You don't show it.
Oh, I am angry all the time.
Well,
Seething, furious, boiling.
thank you so much for just opening your heart to us and really diving into that last moment that you had with your husband. It's such a wonderful memory to have, that it was so happy, and the way he smelled and the fact that he took your breath away. I think that's very vulnerable and just a gorgeous moment to share with us. Why don't we listen to a little bit of local sound?
Hit the road at 5:30. Needed near death to feel alive. River wide and canyon deep. I've forgotten how to fall asleep. Threads that you can't see. Bind all the way back east. There's lightning going in my mind, and in the wild and angry sky, Carolina it's gotta turn out alright. And then this mountain range, you'll come here when you're older, and I hope it's the same. And it'll be your turn to get washed in the rain. When you wake up, you ask, where have I gone? And though the time goes fast, I know it's gonna be too long. So in the countryside, maybe you'll come back when you can taste the wine. Everything that's worth it, well, it takes some time. By the ocean wide, can you keep on wading through the rising tide? In this world that we've been burning, can you make it right? When you wake up, you ask, where have I gone? And though the time goes fast, I know it's gonna be too long. Hey there, Lou. When I look across the desert, all I see is you. And in my eyes, you go on forever, so I guess that's why it's gotta turn out alright. I turned off the cowboy music half a mile ago on this thing that Apple Maps assured us was a road. And I don't know how far it goes, or if we're gonna make it. I told you this was my first rodeo, and I don't think there's
That was the Montvale, some local honey. You can find them on all streaming platforms and all social media. So before we took that listening break, you got really vulnerable with us and you were talking about your last moments with Jeff and how beautiful those moments are. So you focus on the positives of your moments with him. How did you get through the loss and the anger?
So there is no right way, but there are lots of wrong ways. And I had the benefit of already being a grief loss and trauma certified therapist. So I already knew what those wrong ways were, the ways that would make me hurt more.
Right.
And I had to, more than I already did. And I was already at maximum capacity. And if I hurt any more than I did, I don't believe I would have survived it. I had to focus on, instead of what I lost, because that would have killed me, I had to focus on what I got to have, what I got to know. Something that is beautiful and rare, and not a lot of people get to have it. And we realized that in real time. And we felt an obligation to take really good care of it and to wring it out on behalf of all the people who never get to know that or have that. We couldn't let it slip through our fingers or take it for granted or get sloppy or lazy. And that maintained that intentionality, but so did our mutual, not shared, but mutual long history with death loss. Both of us spending 3 years working on ourselves before we met contributed to us living that way. We did our work, we learned our lessons, we changed things about ourselves we didn't like, and what the storm of life didn't strip away was what couldn't be. That's how we found each other, in that raw state of, this is what you get. There's no facade.
Yeah.
There's no pretending. If you're cool with this, cool. And if you're not, cool. We really dug each other, and that never stopped. The butterflies never stopped. Still falling in love with the man he was. And that says everything about him.
Yeah, it definitely does.
He was our rhythm guitar player in 3 Mile Smile, and he would say, everybody would say, great guitar player. He's like, oh, no. I'm a bass player faking it on guitar. And everybody's like, that's even better. Girl, this is your second instrument and you're this good. And he was just very modest. But phenomenal musician, incredible, like 5-star quality bartender, even in a dive bar, beautiful father and friend and brother. I mean, uncle. He adored his nieces and nephews. He was a wonderful man.
Right.
He was a wonderful husband. I had everything I wanted. I had it all.
I hate that you've lost that, but I'm so glad that you appreciate and you look back with so much fondness and you still light up when you talk about him.
I mean, that else is a shrine to him. Not just him, but us, our life, our music.
Yeah, you carry him with you and you still have him right here with you, and it's beautiful. So let's talk about your upcoming single.
So, Breathless is a song that was inspired last August, coming home from an open mic night, which music is often inspired for me at those events, or coming home from those events, or just seeing people live. Live music just does it for me. It's my favorite inspiration. So I had this line come to me, "You leave me breathless." That was the first line that came to me, with a particular melody, a particular phrasing, a particular way of singing it. And then the next line came to me, "Baby, hang up the phone." And then I questioned in my head, is it hang up the phone? Because nobody hangs up the phone anymore. The phone doesn't hang. Put down the phone now. Will anybody know what hang up the phone means? Am I dating myself? But not like I care about age, but is that going to make sense in today's society? Is anybody going to get that? And I decided if they don't get it, then I don't care. That it's baby, hang up the phone.
Right.
And I sang those 2 lines to myself all the way home, and I knew as I was singing them they didn't even belong together, but they were both in the song. And Baby Hang Up the Phone ended up being the first line of the song, first line of the first verse. And You Leave Me Breathless ended up being the last line of the chorus. And I didn't realize until I got home and wrote the rest of the song and recorded the melody into my phone, because it came out whole like that. I didn't realize until I was sitting there looking back at it and listening to it that I had written the song about the last time I saw him alive. And I didn't have to tell him to put down his phone. But that is something that we said to each other from time to time.
Yeah.
Not in that last visit. I had all of his attention. The chorus of that a song touches on remembering his men and having my being swept off my feet and him leaving me breathless. It's a beautiful, powerful song to me. It's very important to me, and I'm excited to share it. I've played it live a few times, and people have heard it that way. I think I've maybe had a video or two online of it, but hearing the recorded version with all the musical parts that I've had playing and dancing in my head
Mm-hmm.
since August. I mean, this song was fully arranged, fully developed, fully conceptualized all along. And the recording process was just about getting as close to that as I possibly could.
Right.
And so I'm really excited for people to hear that
Yeah.
development.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it too. I can't wait. When can we expect that?
I haven't decided.
Oh, you're going to keep it from us.
It was supposed to be the February 1st release, and then it was supposed to be the March 1st release. And I might just spring it.
Ooh.
My first song I released was a Christmas song, and I released that announcement only, no lead up. On Black Friday, it was a Christmas song, so that was timing for that. And then my first single was released on January 1st of this year, the first local single,
Mm-hmm.
26, called Cruel, Cruel Heart.
For those of you who listened last week, you heard Cruel, Cruel Heart. This is Miss Becki Grace herself.
Yay. That makes me happy. That was also a whole lot of fun to make. That was so much fun to make.
I absolutely love that song.
Thank you. I actually ended up doing the backing vocals on that song as well, which was not planned, but it turned out all right.
It turned out all right. It turned out wonderful. What do you mean? It turned out wonderful. I enjoy that song so much. And the messaging behind it, you've got a cruel, cruel heart. I know many people I could say that to.
That's unfortunate. It's more, but no, can't relate to that song.
I know, but that's life.
Yeah, I mean, like all the hard stuff. I don't want anybody to know what that kind of grief feels like. I don't
Right.
I don't want anybody to know what betrayal feels like. I don't want anybody to know what, huge disappointment feels like.
Yeah.
I don't, that sucks. I'm sorry.
It does. It does. But
But it is universal.
it's just like we spoke about before. It's that gray area.
Well, everything's great.
Everything is gray, and we are the grays. We are. Do you have any other music coming up?
Oh, yeah. I'm writing with several different people, including my friend Josie J, that's the lead singer of Josie and Dessert.
My goodness. Yes, we have been writing together, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm so excited to see where it takes us.
Me too. It's just fun watching it develop and knowing what it came from and watching it evolve and it change. And it's becoming itself and kind of shedding what it's not is what I think is what's happening.
I think so too.
Sometimes that's how a song is written.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly who it is, it dictates it to you, and you just have to keep up. And sometimes you have to watch it grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to work it and knead it. And I'm not one. My friend Heidi, that I co-write with, also would disagree with me completely. She'd say you work a song, and I would say I don't want to force a song to be something that it isn't or doesn't want to be. I
Yeah.
want it to tell me. And she's like, yeah, that's not how it's done. And I'm like, okay, but we write well together.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, it works.
Yeah. And you wrote your intro for Local Honey with her.
That was the first song we wrote together, and that was so much fun. That was a winter afternoon. It was January or February because my show started in March, and we had a deadline. We were trying to get that going. This was in 2023. So she came over to the house, and we turned on the TV and like YouTube or something and put on videos about bees and just muted it and watched it. And for this process, how we came up with this song was we wrote down words as we're watching these videos and pictures kind of stimulating us. We wrote down words that are about bees or honey, anything in that topic. Then we just started making phrases out of those words. And as we used the words, we crossed them out. And we just went through all the words. And she is really terrific at turning a phrase. And so we both chimed in on that. And then she came up with a melody and chords for it. And we started working it. And she needed it.
Yeah.
She pushed and pulled. And then she left with it and came back with it and worked on it a little bit more, and it evolved a little bit more. And I liked the way that she, I had a melody, a way I was singing it based on what she was playing, and she sang it differently, and she put emphasis in different places, and I liked that. So then I adapted to the way that she was singing certain parts, and it came together, and we had us a verse and a chorus, which is the theme song for the radio show. But we were having so much fun, we didn't want to stop. So we decided to write another verse and chorus, and I play that.
Yeah.
And I'm out performing solo. I don't know if she does, but I know I do for sure. It's maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, it's not a long, it's a little jingle. It's not an old song or anything. But it's adorable and it's quaint, and every single line is in this theme,
Mm-hmm.
and people love it. And it's perfect for the metaphor that I was using for the radio show, that, women, the female bee is a queen bee.
Mm-hmm.
And there are worker bees and drones, and I think the worker bees are female and the drones are male, and what they create is something sweet. And that's what the women in our community are doing. They are creating something sweet
Mm-hmm.
in their music, and it's something that we can savor like honey, and it's something that heals us like honey, and it's something that can sustain us and keep us alive like honey.
Yes.
So in that metaphor, I see a lot of parallels. I see a lot of overlap. And then I wanted all the contributions to this show to be female. So I had my friend Trisha Jean Brady do the logo design. I'm not sure what her degree is in, because she does a lot of different things, but it's art in some format. I'm
Right.
not sure if it's specifically digital art and design, but she did a great job.
She definitely did.
I said, I want there to be honeycomb, I want there to be honey dripping, and maybe a bee, and that's what she gave it.
And it's beautiful. Everybody listening, please, 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 please check out local honey. Hey, and I love it.
Right.
I love it. So let's get into how you started local honey. How'd you get into radio?
So after Jeff passed away, I actually had to finish our 4th album after, and we had like 3 or 4 songs that were unfinished. Had a couple of people come in and lay their final touches of solos and stuff, and I had to do final vocals on a song that I wrote in February of 2015 when we knew we were eloping in May.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Holly Williams, Hank Williams' granddaughter, Hank Jr.'s daughter, Hank the Third's sister.
Oh.
And she was performing at the Bijou, and she has a song called Waiting for June about her grandparents finding each other. And I loved that story, and I was trying to challenge myself in different writing styles, and I thought, well, I want to write a story like that. And so I decided to write mine and Jeff's story, Waiting for May to get married. And in Waiting for June, her grandmother's name is June. But I was waiting for May to get married. And I gave that to Jeff for Valentine's Day that year. And that was a song that I had to sing final vocals on after he passed away, which was impossible. So I had to change it from a first-person story to a second-person story. And we recorded that song one line at a time. I would sing a line and fall apart. And Artie Conjero was the producer of that album and our live album and our the 3rd album. And he had a really hard time with it too. We were in battle together to finish that album. And he did a wonderful job, and he knew Jeff's heart, and they had already talked about everything, and he knew how Jeff wanted things on that whole production side and the business side and the side that I didn't have as much experience with. Jeff and I always talked about things and were on the same page, but he did all of that communicating, so I had to learn. I finished up the album, and then I took a year away from music because it was hard, and I had to renegotiate my relationship with music, which existed long before him. For both of us, we actually both started music the same year. I was 3 and he was 15, and we didn't know each other. But I had to change my relationship with music because of the role he played in it and how that changed things for me. And when I started coming back to music, I started learning to play ukulele again because I had not been playing for a long, long time. And I started going to open mic nights to get comfortable playing by myself when there wasn't a band around me to hide behind. And it was very vulnerable and it was very scary for the first time in my life because I had never performed as a solo artist. And at 42, right before I turned 43, for the first time in my life, I was learning how to be a solo artist. And I was playing the 3 Mile Small songs that I had written the music for so that I knew how to play them, but I can't play the songs that Jeff wrote the music for, partially because he was a much more experienced musician and I don't know all those chords. Like I can't play at that level, that speed, that technicality. And so went back to ukulele lessons to learn. And Greg Horn was my first ukulele instructor. I went back to Greg Horn because he literally wrote the book, the instruction book for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So I started trying to write again and playing my old songs and getting people to play with me. And then started realizing at open mics that I was one of 1 or 2 women there to perform. And there might be more than that in the room, but there were not more than that performing. And that bothered me. But I got really angry about there not being enough women. And then I realized there weren't more women there trying to get on stage that weren't being allowed on stage. There weren't enough women showing up. So I thought, okay, how do I fix that? I have to invite women. I have to reach women who are musicians or who write and aren't doing it in public, aren't doing it at open mics, aren't sharing it, or aren't doing it anymore. They've gotten away from it. I've got to bring them back. That's what Jeff and I did. We pushed people back to music.
Yeah.
Always come back to music. Always, always, always come back to music. And I knew, even when I took time away, that I would come back to it. I couldn't avoid it. I had to. It's the darkest, saddest, hardest parts of my life are when I am not engaged actively in music. And I know that about me. I need it to stay alive. So I had this idea for a show and I thought, like, nobody else is doing anything like this. There are shows that are specific to genre. There are shows that are specific to era. There are shows that are specific to there are satellite radio shows that are specific to a single artist, but nobody is doing anything that is all about women.
Right.
So I approached the owner of a station and said, hey, I've got an idea for a show. And I pitched the idea and he said, I love it. I think you should do it. And I was like, wait, I didn't mean me. I'm just going to come up with ideas. He said, no, I think it's that you're right for this. And I was like, well, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. I mean, like, I've been on stage my whole life. Yeah, I can do this. It's not a problem. I can talk. I'm a professional listener as a therapist. And I'm a professional singer by DNA. And yeah, I can be a professional talker. I have all the words. So we did it. We started March 2023, and I learned to run the soundboard, the setup that you're using here, same equipment, different brands, and learned how to broadcast live and started inviting my friends to come in and started also cultivating fine-tuning what it would be to focus on original music, to focus on the sounds of our area, the sounds that we create, the sounds that are signature to here and nowhere else. and what women are doing that no one else is doing and how we're doing it. And then I wanted to get into more of a tutorial. How are the women who are not doing it supposed to get into it if they don't know how? Well, let's tell them how the women who have already done it did it. And that's a varied background
Right.
for all of us. It's we all come at it from different angles and different reasons and different times and with different meaning and purpose in it and behind it, and different experience levels and different skill levels. And so there's no one right way. There's just wrong ways, like not doing it.
Yeah.
So the show became a tutorial, and I every week try to invite new women to come to the open mic nights. So I share weekly the
Mhm.
open mic calendar for each day of the week and all the places to go and what times they start. And I share when local women are performing around town, and I call it my local honey calendar to eliminate the excuse I didn't know you were playing.
Yes.
Because not that that's an excuse that people just like don't want to show up and they just but like okay, I'm gonna make sure that you know, because
Yeah.
you're more likely to go.
That's exactly right.
And so my show is intended to be very informative and encouraging and uplifting and supportive and lighthearted and silly and fun, because this is a benefit and a blessing, not a burden, not a curse or something. It's hard or difficult in that you have to get used to no and rejection, and not being good at it until you are is really uncomfortable. And you have to stick with it to get through that, to get to the good part. And so, yeah, there are hard parts of it. But when you're doing it right, you're having the time of your life and it flies by. And you're like, wait, can I do 3 more hours?
That is exactly, I know exactly what you mean. I would not trade this life for the world. It's so beautiful. Now, when we come back, I really want to talk to you about sticking with it because you've been doing this for 3 years. So I'm going to let you pick the music this time. How does that sound?
Meet Madam Queen, born overseas, brought straight to Harlem from the West Indies. The prodigal if you think you found your way. That's all you had to say, like they did back in the day. Those songs have all been played. I don't mean to complicate, but things were simpler that way. Say what you mean and mean what you say. The ties in between us are all worn and frayed. Where did it all go wrong? We're just sitting here all alone, two strangers in a song. Two-step to a line. Why's the waltz such a crime? Our rhythm used to align. Now it's lost its pretty rhyme. There ain't nothing left but time. Love left and undone. I don't know what else to do. Ain't giving up on loving you. It's not a win and not a lose. Just a window we're climbing through. Broken pieces break a heart in two. There ain't nothing left we can't undo. Say what you mean and mean what you say. The ties in between us are all worn and frayed. Where did it all go wrong? We're just sitting here all alone. Where did it all go wrong? We're just sitting here all alone, two strangers in a song. Oh, two strangers in a song. Oh, two strangers in a song. Oh, two strangers in a song. 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 Two strangers in a Meet Madam Queen, born overseas, brought straight to Harlem from the West Indies. The broad
That was local honey queen Emmy Sunshine. Find her on all streaming platforms and all social media. All right. So thank you so much for playing those songs for us. That was absolutely lovely. So before we went to that listening break, we talked about what really lit you on fire and what gave you the idea for local honey and how you got your start in radio. You've done this for 3 years. Where'd you get your start?
The show started on Real Knoxville Music, broadcast out of the Sun Sphere in downtown Knoxville. And I started my first show March 5th of 2023, and the station closed on August 31st, 2023.
Oh, goodness.
And so the show was on hiatus, and I had no outlet, no way to record, no way to broadcast, no way to do any of it. And WTK picked me up and added me to their roster of specialty shows. And they had a full roster, and between what the alumni did and what the active students were doing. So locals only, JJ Pershing, agreed to let local honey have the first Tuesday of every month. And I'd gone from being a once a week hour show on Sundays to a once a month 2-hour show on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
But there were ads and promos and things that had to be run on a clock, and this was regulated by the FCC, where Real Knoxville Music had done online radio.
Yeah.
So no rules,
Mm-hmm.
no structure,
Yeah.
format. And that really adjusted how much I could have a person play. So I started having 2 guests instead of 1. And they weren't getting as many songs to play either. And then in July of 2024, WTK fired Benny Smith as the program director and kicked all of us alumni DJs out of the studio, told us we did not have a place there. And I was back on hiatus.
Yeah.
And we collaborated with Knoxville Community Media to launch Radio KCM. And the guys at the Fun House were Rob and Derek,
Mm-hmm.
paramount in that.
Yeah.
And Knoxville Community Media is public access. They were only public access television on Comcast Channel 12, and we helped them develop this radio side that I think they had thought about or maybe talked about or were interested in but had not done. And we had a fundraiser at Lost and Found Record Store, and the station launched on December 1st. We had to buy all the equipment. They had to build the studio in the office space. We launched December 1st of 2024, and I have been 2 hours weekly ever since, which is a big change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Work once a week to 2 hours once a month to 2 hours every week.
Oh my goodness. So you really did stick with it and through all of those changes too.
Yeah, I'm glad that the audience stuck with me
Yeah.
because I'm full of fire all the time. And my astrology friends will say, "You're not even a fire sign," and I'm like Earth, Earth, Earth. But the eye of always on fire, and it is just it was part of my husband's efforts to direct that in a productive channel that into a productive direction, and I'm still working on that. And having a creative outlet is a healthy.
Yeah.
It is what in mental health we call sublimation, which is a healthy outlet and way to express something that could otherwise be very negative and bad.
Yes, it could be detrimental.
Turning to songwriting and turning to creativity and turning to art and turning to cooking or baking or gardening or building or painting or dancing gives us that healthy outlet for something that allows us to regulate and manage so that we don't make our problems other people's problems.
Right. Exactly. Because hurt people hurt people.
Right. But you have an obligation to deal with your hurt.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin is also true.
Mm-hmm.
Healed people heal people.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I have many friends that I have picked up along the way that they are really just healing energy like you. You have very healing energy. Your house is very healing. For those of you that will never be able to grace this home, you walk in to the warmest hug, and as soon as you sit down on the couch and you get to see the lovely kitties that are here, you've made such a beautiful, beautiful home, and it is a sanctuary, and I feel it deep in my soul. I'm grateful for you and that you've allowed me in your space.
Absolutely.
Becki Grace is actually how I got onto Radio KCM. So thank you for showing me the door.
It makes me happy. I've actually been able to turn several people to the station who had shows, including Ari Clive that does the pause, and Maddie McCullough was doing an old time music, like roots music show. I'm not sure if she's still doing that or when that is on. Ari's show is on, I think, at 2 on Thursdays. And then he archives as well, I think, on Spotify and all the places all podcast. So it's fun to that is part of who I am and what I enjoy is introducing people to each other that will benefit each other,
Yeah.
that need to know each other because they're going to be good for each other.
Yeah.
Not even just one way, it's both ways. You need each other. So
Yeah. You are the inspirer
I hope so.
and you're a
I'm
matchmaker.
trying to live up to that. I don't know that I don't like the name matchmaker so much. That makes me think of a little old lady in a town that every city tries to avoid. And I don't want to be that lady. I want to be the one that people are like, oh, she's guaranteed good time. Let's go sit by her.
Right.
She's gonna say something. She's gonna say something.
You definitely are. You definitely are that person because I always have such a good time with you.
Good.
You stuck with it, like you said, and you went through all those different changes.
Oh, yeah.
If you could go back, is there anything you would tell yourself about this journey that you've been on?
Tell myself or someone else.
Or both? Why not both?
I think something that people need to hear more often, especially from women, is that this is not a competition.
Yes.
It's not pie. More for you is not less for me. And I love that about our mentality in this community.
Mm-hmm.
It's really an open cord in their community
Yes.
that binds us all together is this attitude that like this, I'm rooting for you, kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I'm your fan.
Yes.
I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna buy your merch. I'm gonna tell people to come see you. I'm gonna tell people about your music. Play it when people are over, just so they'll hear it to say, "Who's that?" And
Mm-hmm.
tell them about my friend.
Yes. And that's how it should be.
I agree. I don't think that it's always been that way. I don't think that every part of our town is always that way. But I love it when I see it, and that's the best of us. That's when we are at our best as individuals, as musicians, as a community, as an industry. The industry, the business is competitive, but
Mhm.
music is not. And because the opposite of that competitiveness is the harmony. And there's no competition in harmony. There's
No.
only elevation.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And the collaboration is so important there, even if it's off the stage.
That's everything I'm doing right now. My whole project that I'm working on, my first solo releases ever, and I'm writing the music and the lyrics, or I'm co-writing with people. Every song that I'm doing is with a completely different set of musicians. His song is completely different. I'm the only conster.
Yeah.
My uke and my voice. And I couldn't do that before. I couldn't play my uke. but but I've grown, and I hope I keep growing, and I am getting to enjoy making memories and creating permanence in music with people that I love and people that I'm fans of and people I've always wanted to work with, people that I didn't know, but I asked them if they help me with something and they agree, and oh my God, I give.
Yes.
I mean, like, it's a little bit of everything.
It
It's my
is.
best friends and some, people that I have a lot of experience with and people that we've never really sat down and had a conversation, and this is how we're getting to know each other.
Right.
And so I love that everybody is willing to chip in, and not everybody, but most people are willing to chip in and help out and be a part of this thing that's just my New Year's resolution to
Yeah, man.
with as many people as I can. And that's recording, that's writing, that's performing, that's whatever way I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
And tell other people anything to help them have better outcomes. That's what I would tell them to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this is not a competition. That is a great mindset to have because so many beautiful things have come from that.
Oh, yeah.
So many beautiful things. So I love that answer. I love it that you want to push that forward. And you push that forward in your own show as well.
I did. It's part of my show. It's part of my identity. It's part of my personality. It's in all the parts of my life.
Yeah.
And it's not just for women either.
But
My show is just for women. But I love everybody. I cheer everybody on. I show up to everybody's shows from time to time. I'm all over the place. And you might not see me for a while because I'm on the other side of town or I'm doing something else. Or I'm got my head down working on my own stuff or,
yeah.
there's a lot of balls in the air.
So how do you find balance in your life and everything that you do?
Well, I introduced each part slowly,
Mm.
one step at a time. So I came back to music first, and then I started my radio show, and then I came back to writing, and now I've come back to recording. And I've given myself permission to move at my own pace, I don't care what anybody else's expectations of me are, which is really awesome because my husband always told me I cared too much. And when I turned 40, I'd quit caring, and I didn't. And I was 41 when he died, and that did it. And I really just don't care anymore. Not like in a selfish, arrogant, like I'm gonna steamroll right over you way, but like I wrote a song 2 years ago, called "It's Okay If You Don't Like Me," and the chorus says, "It's okay if you don't like me. It took a while to learn to love myself, but I've grown, and maybe you will too. So it's okay if you don't like me anymore." That's where I am in life. That's where I am in my music. That's where I am with anyone who's not on board with my show. That's cool. I'm always glad to know who my people are not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's an awesome mindset to have. Because, I feel like I care too much about what other people think too. And I know there are plenty of other people out there that do.
That's really, really, really painful.
It is.
Really hard to care when there's so much hurt happening constantly around us.
Yeah.
It can kill you. I mean, it can burden you. It can wipe you out. It can drain everything from you
Yeah.
if you don't tether yourself to something that fills you back up.
Yeah.
And while this is work, and while it takes effort and money and time, and I'm not being reimbursed for any of that, it's worth it.
It is
I
worth
have to
it.
do it because it's what creates the balance.
Yeah.
Hard stuff that I have to carry every day.
So this is your
It
sublimation.
doesn't get easier. You just get used to carrying it.
Yeah. So this is your sublimation. This is how you keep balance in your life altogether. And that's
And music. I would not be alive if I did not have music.
Uh,
I would not.
music saved my life. Yeah. Over and over again. And I'm sure it's still going to keep saving my life.
I hope so.
I think it will.
I hope so. I'm willing to let it.
Do you have any other nuggets of advice you want to pass along before we go into this next listening break?
There's no such thing as perfection. It doesn't exist. It's a myth. It's a cognitive distortion. It's fake.
Well, I'm going to let you choose our next song again. And when we come back, I'm going to put you in the hot seat.
Ooh, ooh.
I'd fill up pages about you, but never play them. I'll just hide them in my room, lying underneath the bed with all the dust the mattress sheds. Your aura in my room. If I didn't need you, I wouldn't keep you. You run, 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 but I follow close. Coins in my clothes. You're walking fast. way too loud. Your voice in my ear. Polaroids are fading, and I'm tired of the waiting and those promises I hear. Oh, but I'll follow close. Coins in my clothes. You walking fast. I'm running slow. No time to waste. Look at me in my face. I'll go in your place. My every breathing is a treason. Gotta love the street signs, fault lines, seismic quakes, psychedelics, and little crimes. Bad brains claim to fame. Down to the wire, start a fire, walk of shame. Onto him to get over you. Go until there's holes in my shoes. If I didn't need you, I wouldn't keep you. If I didn't need you, I wouldn't keep you. But you hear me coming. Follow close. Coins in my clothes. You walking fast. I'm running slow. No time to waste. Look at me in my face. I'll go where you place. My every breathing is a treason. Our careless weekend is the reason. Gotta love the chase. It's underneath the wood, knife that just appeared in your hand. Notches and the grooves, momentary wishes spent. Curtains closed, gases cold. You don't know the reason for my death. Particles on your shirt with broken seams. contained in your bodily lies. Will the guilt crush your soul? Will it decompose your cells until you're out? You're living my name, or just my screams of
Oh, we listened to so much good music today, and it's been fulfilling. It's been lovely. And see, you have every show fully based around women. So for me to have a show based on you who lifts us all up, and you're still lifting us up by giving suggestions, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and hopefully the other listeners do as well.
I hope that they can glean something valuable from all that nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful. You have so much knowledge, and you've been through so much, and you've found a way to really transmute those negative emotions and some of the wonderful emotions. You've learned how to transmute that into music and just beauty and grace. It's just a pleasure to have you on the show with me. You know what I'm going to do to thank you?
What?
Put you in the hot seat. All right. So the hot seat, I'm going to ask you this or that, either or questions, and I want you to answer as quickly as you possibly can. Analog or digital?
Analog.
Studio recording or live performance?
Live.
Major label or DIY?
DIY.
Streaming or physical vinyl?
Physical vinyl.
Perfectly quantized or human swing feel?
Human swing.
A great melody or a great lyric?
All lyric.
Touring or session work?
I don't know how that's apples and oranges. They're totally different. They fulfill something very different. So I don't know how to choose between them.
Leading with your head or your heart?
I lead with my heart and my mouth. It gets me in trouble. And then the foot catches up and I try and eat it. I mean, I do. I eat it.
Speed and action or careful perfection?
Neither.
No. Working in your business or working on your business?
On.
High IQ or high EQ?
High EQ.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, I'm a night owl. I mean, in personality. in action. I'm just an insomniac.
And you're exerting all that energy on top of it. Strict daily routine or spontaneous workflow?
No. I have to have structure. And if there isn't structure, I have to create structure because spontaneity scares me and improv has always scared me. And that's part of what I've been overcoming. Performing live and writing.
Yeah, because improv is scary.
Someone like me that is so structured and prepared and planned and organized, and I have backup plans to my backup plans, and I have all the supplies in case those backup plans need to be put into action. I have what I need, and it's organized, and I know right where to go get it on the shelves.
Yeah.
This is how my brain works. And it's really annoying because part of my personality is also like, hey, you want to go to the beach right now? Come back tomorrow?
Right. So you live spontaneously, but you're also very organized. That's balance.
I can only have a little bit of the spontaneity because it's addictive. It'll suck me in and
Oh, yeah.
fall apart, and that's a disaster, and everything goes bad. So I can allow a little bit of spontaneity from time to time, but I have to be the adult in the room and say, now is not the time.
Remote work or in office? Oh, yeah. Would you rather work with a team of specialists or a team of generalists?
Specialists. And hopefully I'm the dumbest person in the room. That way I'm doing to learn.
What is your go-to strategy for beating burnout and managing stress?
Self-care.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that is. Whatever it is, we are a pitcher of water. And we pour out on the people and the things that are important to us. And self-care is what refills us so that we can keep pouring out on the people and things that are important to us. It's like gas in the tank. It facilitates you doing and having what you want. It's not a barrier. It's not something in the way. It's not something stopping you. It's what gets you there. And if you don't have it, you won't have balance and you won't get there.
Yeah.
But I love to learn. So I read every day, almost every day, to learn. And when I realize that I'm reading stupid stuff, I put it down and I go read something that will teach me something I don't already know.
Yeah.
Because I love to learn.
So, best business or mindset book that you've read recently?
Well, I am a therapist, and so I lean toward the mindset category. And as a trauma therapist, specifically, a specialist, I tend to focus on trauma because a lot of people have trauma. And so that's what's underlying a lot of the problems that they're experiencing in their lives, things that they're not addressing, that they maybe didn't even know how to address or that they needed to address. But that's what's underlying. So there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's dry, it's scholastic, intergenerational trauma and how it gets passed on genetically. And I think that's really important for us, particularly in a society here where there is so much historical pain.
What is the best investment you've made in your career for under $100?
My kazoo.
What is the best piece of career advice you've ever ignored?
In my freshman lit class in college, my professor told me, I may have been 18 by the time she said this, but she told me that if I did not pursue a writing career, I would be throwing my life away. And I didn't pursue a writing career. I pursued a psychology career.
If you had to start your career over today from scratch with zero contacts, what is the very first thing you would do?
Go to open mic.
What is one failure or mistake that taught you the most about you in your career?
I don't think I've made a mistake. I've dropped some balls that I've given myself grace to be imperfect and to try again and do better and to ask for help. I've learned from the moment I said, sure, I'll do it, to my own idea. I had to learn the soundboard and how to broadcast and what steps to take and what programs to use and what equipment was necessary. I had to learn how to transition a show from one place to another and to keep an audience. I've learned still more new equipment. And last week I just learned how to remote broadcast with different equipment. So I'm learning lots, but I don't think that I've made a mistake that set me back or created a regret or a problem that I couldn't navigate.
What is your final piece of advice or the final thing that you want to share with the audience today?
It's okay if you're afraid. Be afraid. Do it afraid.
Do it afraid. That's beautiful. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today and welcoming me into your home.
I was going to say thank you for being here with me. Well, I'm always usually alone with the guy.
I love it here. I think it's so comfortable and beautiful and warm, and so are you. So I want you to go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you, when they can find you, all the things.
Absolutely. So, as a musician myself, you can find my website at beckygrace.com. That's BECKI, grace.com. I'm on the Bandcamp and the Bands in Town and the Reverb Nation and all that stuff. I'm on all the streaming platforms. And then for the radio show on Local Honey Radio on social media, localhoneyradio@gmail.com to contact me. And Local Honey with Becki Grace, you can search on Spotify and find all of the episodes from all the different stations. They're all in one place there.
And that wraps up our incredibly moving conversation with Becki Grace. A huge, huge thank you to Becki for opening her home and her heart to us today. And to you, incredible listener, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with me until the very end. Your commitment and active listening mean the world to me, and I am so grateful to have you as a valued part of the creative evolution community. Remember her biggest piece of advice from today's episode: perfection is a myth, and no matter what challenges you are facing, you just have to do it afraid. Be sure to check out her radio show, Local Honey, and find her original music on all streaming platforms or by visiting beckygrace.com. Let's give a massive shout out to the incredible independent artists featured during today's music breaks. You can find all their links to support their music and buy their merch right down in the show notes. A special thank you to Radio KCM for broadcasting the show and providing a platform that supports independent artists and the Knoxville community. I'm Josie J, and until next week, your time to evolve starts right now.